Hey guys, before we get started, I just wanted to say that we have a gaming channel and an anime channel, Mystical Gaming and Mystic Sage. If you like gaming, go check out Mystical Gaming, and go check out Mystic Sage if you like anime content. Links will be in the description below and in the ad cards above. Pokemon Sword and Shield are just 4 weeks away, and the hype for these games is getting me more excited as each day counts down. I honestly think these are going to be some of my favorite Pokemon games of all time. So far, we have been introduced with quite a few new aspects. We've gotten to see battles, new music, new areas, new towns, and all of this, to me, just looks utterly fantastic. I haven't done much Sword and Shield content recently, but with the hype in the air, I wanted to create a list of reasons as to why I'm excited for Sword and Shield. Everything about these games look fantastic, but these 10 things are what I'm excited for the most. So that being said, let's hop into what makes me excited about Pokemon Sword and Shield. Starting off the first reason of this list, we have all the brand new Pokemon. Every single Pokemon that we've been introduced to so far, I have not had a single problem with. Every Pokemon was cute in their own unique way. There was not a single Pokemon that I looked at and said, oh god, this Pokemon's design is trash. All the Pokemon looked aesthetically pleasing to me. There were even Pokemon like Eldegoss that had similar Pokemon like it done before, like Whimsicott. Yes, they are both similar Pokemon, but Eldegoss has its own unique look that makes it pull off the concept differently. Another Pokemon that I absolutely love is Alcremie, in all of its flavors. Corviknight is also one too, being a Raven-like Pokemon. I love ravens and crows, plus the typing of steel and flying. It's just as dope as Skarmory. Awesome Pokemon. I'm looking forward to seeing more of these mons as well. So this is probably going to be one of the most random reasons on this list. I'm really excited for the Pokemon Nintendo Switch Lite. I know it really doesn't have to do with in-game content, but without Sword and Shield, this masterpiece wouldn't have been able to be created. Just look at the sleek design of the legendaries and all the other features on it. Yeah, I know it's $200, but with something as cool as this, I couldn't say no. Plus for those people out there that can't afford a regular Nintendo Switch, just buy a Lite for $100 less, plus this Sword and Shield design makes it even a little bit more worth the purchase. That's just me though. I wouldn't have bought a Lite if not for this Pokemon one. The regular one is dope, sure, but this one right here is a gem in a million. I saw this and it called to me, Nintendo can have my money. The third thing I wanted to talk about today are the Galarian forms. Regional variants was by far one of the best things introduced in Pokemon Sun and Moon, so I was extremely excited to see them make their return in the Galar region. Regional variants are so genius in concept as they follow the theory of Darwinian evolution, as well as just making sense to make from a business perspective. On the scientific side of things, it makes sense for me, Pokemon to have evolved differently on the regions they live in. Galarian and Zigzagoon are more free to run around and be restless, which ends up making them troublemakers, hence the additional dark typing. Or even with the more recently introduced Galarian Ponyta, which changes from a fire type to a psychic type. It makes sense for the Ponyta of this region, as they are primarily located in forest, overflowing with life energy which causes them to transform. I did say scientific, right? Anyhow, that makes 100% sense from a lore perspective, and before you say it, I get that you all wanted Ponyta to be fairy type. I thought it would be too, but from how unicorns actually work in their mythology, Psychic was better suited. Who knows though, maybe Galarian Rapidash will gain the fairy typing as well. Moving on to the business side of things, it provides Game Freak the opportunity to breathe new life into the beloved older Pokemon, as well getting to keep the Pokedex numbers a little bit smaller, making that 1000 Pokemon milestone take a bit more time to reach, which is probably a good thing at the end of the day. Also, the fact that we're no longer limited to only Kanto Pokemon is great. Sure, we've only seen the Zigzagoon line and every other Pokemon has been from Kanto, but I do think we'll have a pretty solid spread of regional variants from other generations. And lastly, the fact that we're kind of getting cross-generation evolutions from Pokemon like Sirfetch'd and Obstagon is very exciting. There is just so much to be excited for here, so I'm really hoping Game Freak delivers some surprises to us once the games finally come out. In every Pokemon game, we get a list of brand new gym leaders, Elite Four members, characters, etc. Out of all the Pokemon games I've been excited for, the new characters don't get me as much as Pokemon Sword and Shield. There's just something different about these characters in Sword and Shield that make me a whole lot more excited than other characters have in the past. I'm not sure if it's because of their designs, ulterior motives, or whatever, but there's just a charm to them that brings me in. They are just waving to me as a player and are welcoming me to play Pokemon Sword and Shield. The new champion, for example. We don't know what he truly is yet. To me, he looks like a villain. There's just something menacing about his face and eyes that point to that. Other characters like Sonia, Bee, and Alistair are great design characters. And don't even get me started on Professor Magnolia. She seems like a professor that has a lot of knowledge just waiting to be shared. I also want to help water her plants. Maybe Pokemon and Harvest Moon are having a crossover. Team Yell also looks really interesting as a Team Skull kind of counterpart, except a lot more minor. They are just a bunch of loud trolls having fun idolizing their hero. I don't think they're the main evil team in these games. There will be a bigger one for sure though. At least I think there will be, I hope so. All the new characters look amazing though, and I'm looking forward to seeing what each of these characters will do for the plot of Pokemon Sword and Shield. Wrapping up the first half of the list, I want to talk about the wild area. The concept is definitely something many Pokemon fans have been wanting from Game Freak for a long time. An openish world that we can explore, catch Pokemon in, and most importantly move the camera in. I know that I've wanted a fully controllable camera in Pokemon for a while now, and that dream is likely to become a reality with the Pokemon series moving to the Switch. And it's sure to become reality. Partly anyways. You see, we're only given free control of the camera while we're in the wild area, but it's a step in the right direction to say the least. I know everyone wants Pokemon to take the Breath of the Wild approach, and maybe it could in the future, but for now, I think this is a little great taste of that, and maybe it'll inspire them for future titles to see how a Pokemon Breath of the Wild world would work. But I'm content with what we've seen. Being able to connect online and visit other people's camps, having the weather change dynamically, which in turn makes the Pokemon selection change very cool. And again, that controllable camera is just something I just can't wait to see. We really don't know a whole lot about the wild area, so I'm hoping that we get to see some surprises once the game's release. But all I know is that once they do, my story progression is more than likely going to be hated for a good number of hours, as I'll be exploring to my heart's content. Also, stop complaining about the dang tree. Dragon Quests and Yokai Watches don't look that great either. It's almost as if games can still be fun despite having a few badly textured trees. Max raid battles are very interesting. At first I was a little skeptical about them, but then I found out you can work with other players to defeat the boss, and that made me more hyped about it honestly. We've never had co-op stuff like this before in Pokemon games, so this is definitely a very keen way to incorporate such a feature. I wonder if there's going to be a meta game for a raid battle, and if there is, I wonder how it's going to work. I think Pokemon just turned into a Monster Hunter-esque kind of game, which I don't find bad at all. The premise of max raid battles are to have fun with friends, which I love. I'm hyped for this, that's for sure, but I want to have more information about it before I say any more about it, so I'm just going to end it here. Following up on the max raid battles, we have two of the most prominent features of these games being Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing. These two takes on giant Pokemon are only accessible to catch through the max raid battles, as well as only being able to be used in certain areas of the Galar region, being the gyms and more than likely the Pokemon League itself. Now, as all you know, Dynamaxing is just okay to me at the moment. All it is at the moment are Pokemon getting bigger. We'll see if there's anything more interesting there in the future, as we still don't know what Dynamax levels are, but obviously that will be explained to us soon enough. Gigantamaxing, however, is more up my alley. Much like Mega Evolution, Gigantamax changes the form of the Pokemon that can use it, which is always something I love to see. Not sure if any of them will change the Pokemon's ability or typing like the Megas did, however, they seemingly get great stat buffs as well as giving them access to their own exclusive G-Max moves, a replacement of sorts for Z moves. I know there are quite a bit of people that are upset, can't believe Mega Evolutions and Z moves died for this, but I'm fine with it. Z moves belong to Alola, and while I miss the Megas, I'm not gonna let their lack of inclusion ruin the fun features I'm seeing in front of me. One key difference between Gigantamax and Megas is the fact that current generation Pokemon are the ones receiving the new forms. Now sure, older Pokemon are likely going to get their own Gigantamax forms. I mean, there's no way in hell Leon's Charizard isn't getting its own form. But the fact aside from Diancie, no Gen 6 Pokemon got a Mega Evolution, and that bummed me out a little bit. But here, there's a possibility of new and old Pokemon getting some love, and that really makes me happy. I absolutely love Alcremie, and seeing it with its Gigantamax form made me love it even more. And from their own mouths, Gigantamax Pokemon are rare to find, so it's going to make it that much more exciting when I find and catch one of my own in a max raid battle. Next, I'd like to talk about the potential competitive battling side of Sword and Shield, as I'm feeling like it's going to be one of the most fun iterations yet. At Pokemon Worlds, Game Freak really made it feel like they were going to be putting some strong focus on the competitive scene, with the additions of crazy new abilities and fun new items. Weezing's neutralizing gas could definitely be broken if the right Pokemon end up making the cut in the Galar decks, and items like Eject Pack being able to turn moves like Draco Meteor and Super into powerful U-turn-like attacks is incredible. And I definitely think there will be more interesting concepts to come across in these games. We still need choice variants for HP, defense, and special defense. The TCG actually introduced the choice helmet, which would be a perfect cover for the defense stat. And those are just immediate concepts we know about. I'm sure with this nice new focus on the competitive scene, they'll be introducing many new items to keep the game fresh and fun for players. As kids, we all saw Ash Ketchum go to the Pokemon League. He battled against a lot of different trainers in a humongous universal tournament. I knew that dang well as a kid, I wanted to be like Ash, to be able to go on a Pokemon journey and battle against trainers from all over the region and duke it out in a tournament-style fashion. In the old Pokemon games, I wanted the league to be just like the anime, and unfortunately, that never happened. Now though, in Pokemon Sword and Shield, it's happened. We finally have a universal tournament where a bunch of trainers are entering. It's a huge tournament with all these different people in it. Finally, after many years, I can participate in a Pokemon anime-style league. I kid you guys not, I am super hyped about this feature. In fact, I would say this is the best feature I think Game Freak has shown us in a Pokemon game. I'm that passionate about it. I want to train multiple Pokemon too and bring in other mons for better matchups. I hope the battling is random too. I want my opponent's Pokemon team to be a surprise. I'm just so hyped for this. I think you guys get it by now. And lastly, I like to talk about the fact that we don't know much about these games. I mean, yeah, we've seen a decent amount of Pokemon, met our rivals, championed one of the villainous teams, and seen the main feature of these games. But even with those things revealed to us, we don't know the full details before the games even came out, like we have for the last 2 generations. We knew virtually every new Pokemon in both X and Y, as well as Sun and Moon, and knew every Mega before ORAS was released and so on. But with Sword and Shield, they've opted to give us fewer trailers in those games and keeping many things under wraps. Even if we only have a Pokedex the size of Kalos, which means we've only seen a third of the Pokemon, leaving so many more to be discovered rather than spoiled for us. If the number of regional Pokemon we get are similar to Sun and Moon's, that's only about a quarter. And since we haven't seen any Gigantamax Pokemon since the reveal, I'm gonna guess there are gonna be a good number of those waiting for us to discover them. I mean, we don't even know the legendary Pokemon's typing or the first stage starters evolutions yet. The point I'm trying to make here is that this time around, Game Freak are giving us just enough for us to wish we had more, but will ultimately give us a better time in game to discover all the new things on our own, which is something I think we've all wanted them to do for a while now. Of course, there are pessimists saying this means we're not going to have a lot of content in the games, but I don't have the time or energy to listen to that nonsense. My time is spent better preparing myself for the awesome thing I'm going to have on November 10th when Sword and Shield are finally in my hands. Well, that pretty much wraps up 10 reasons why I'm stoked for Pokemon Sword and Shield. New Pokemon, Galarian Farms, a tournament league, so many things that just make my inner little kid go crazy. There's also the unexplored field of content we don't even know about yet. Game Freak hasn't revealed everything so far, and that's what I love the most, not knowing what to expect. That's what I'm excited about though. What are you guys excited for? Or are you not excited at all? Let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. If you want to support me further, consider following my Twitch where I stream a lot of Pokemon content and all kinds of other Nintendo content like Zelda, Fire Emblem, and much more. Want to support me further in game called Perks? Check out my Patreon. Daniel Leone, Lady Crimson, Memory Martin, The Lazy Leo, Matthew Young, Awesome Lega, Jarrett Weiss Austin, Sodden Grider, and Enigma97 did, and I want to thank them personally for going above and beyond. It means the world to me. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mr. Gumbrand, and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.